Claude, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Tell me your real name.
Claude W. Duckworth.
Claude W. Duckworth. And when were you born, Claude?
May the 21st, 1934.
Okay. Where do you live now? Where's your address?
State Route 139, Twin Valley.
All right. How long have you been there?
Since 1955.
And that's in Sauter County, Ohio, isn't it?
Sauter County.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions about your family tree. The library likes to know where you've come from and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
So, what were your parents' names? What was your father's name?
My father's name was John A. Duckworth, Jr.
Junior. He was a junior then. Okay.
Yes.
What was your mother's name?
Dora Jones Duckworth.
Was her what was her maiden name? Jones. Stone or Jones?
Jones.
Okay. Now, how far back can you go? Do you know your father's parents, your grandparents' names?
Yes.
Okay. What was your father's parents' name?
John A. Duckworth
Right.
Sr.
Yes, senior.
And his dad, and John's dad was Benjamin Duckworth.
Can you go back further than that, Benjamin?
Not unless I go home and get my cheat sheet.
So you've done a little research into the family then, right?
I had a great aunt that did a lot of research, and
Okay.
she shared it with all of us,
Okay.
cousins and nephews and nieces.
What was your grandmother's name on your father's side? Your grandmother's name?
Happy Welburn.
Welbert. Okay. Where did they come from? Ireland, or where were they from?
Came from England.
England. Okay. Now on your mother's side, what was her father's name? Don't know that one? Okay. You didn't know there'd be a test here, did you?
No, I didn't. Well, my mother's dad, he died early
Oh, I
when
see.
she was only 9 or 10.
Oh, I see.
I think his name was Walter, I'm not sure.
What was his last name?
Jones.
Jones, of course, yes. And then do you know your mother's name?
Sally.
Sally Jones.
Sally Jones Ledford.
Okay. Now, are you married?
Yes.
Okay, what's your wife's name?
Virginia.
Virginia? Okay. Do you have children?
Two daughters.
2 daughters. What are their names?
The oldest one is Claudia Jean, and the youngest one is Terry Lynn.
Do they live locally around here near you?
One lives next door to me, and one lives at Rosemount.
Oh, that's pretty close too.
That's
isn't
close.
it? Okay. You can go see them anytime you want then.
I see one of them every day.
Of course. Do they have children? Do you have grandchildren?
The youngest daughter has 2 daughters.
I see. Okay. And the oldest daughter, she has.
She has no children.
Now, where did you go to high school?
Pickens, South Carolina.
Where?
Pickens.
Pickens.
I'm from South Carolina.
You're a South Carolina boy then, okay.
I just stopped here for a visit.
And you're still visiting?
Still visiting. Pickens, South Carolina.
Okay. When did you graduate from high school? Did you graduate?
1952 on the shores of Korea.
On the shores of Korea is where you graduated from high school? Okay.
I graduated with a GED
Okay.
through the Navy.
So you went into the Navy there you went in 1952 or
19 May of 51,
May of
on
51?
my 17th birthday.
What made you go into the Navy? Why did you go to the Navy?
Because my dad wouldn't sign for me to go in the Army.
And the Navy didn't care.
No, my dad wouldn't. You had to have
okay.
your parents' signature.
So he wanted you to join the Navy.
Well, because my brother liked the Navy, my brother who was in the Army didn't like the Army.
Okay. That was something else I wanted to ask you. You have brothers and sisters?
I have 4 other brothers and 1 sister.
Are they still living?
3 of them are still living.
Okay.
2 died last year before.
Oh my, okay. Well, anyway, you went into the Navy.
I went in the Navy.
Where did you do your basic training in the Navy?
Bainbridge, Maryland,
Bainbridge, okay.
right outside of Baltimore.
How long was your basic training?
from May to September the 8th.
Okay. In basic training for the Navy, is just learning about ships and what do you learn in basic training for the Navy? I know what you learn in the Army, but what about the Navy?
The Navy's just the same as the Army. You learn about the Army and you learn about the ships, how it's done, and how to become a fighting person if you need to be on the ground.
Okay. So you're in the Navy, and then you get out of basic training, and where did you go after your basic training?
I went to Little Creek, Virginia first for amphibious training.
What is amphibious training? What do you do in amphibious training?
Amphibious training is to learning how to take small landing crafts and land on the shore.
Okay. Did you do that? Was that your job?
That was my job later on.
Later? Okay. So, but you went to, how long was that training for?
About 2.5 months.
About 2.5 months? Now, after that was over, where did you go?
Went to Green Cove Springs, Florida.
And what did you do there?
Put an amphibious ship in commission and took it to Korea.
What was the name of the ship?
LSL 57.
57?
Landing Ship Support Light.
Okay. So you'd have to go through the Panama Canal to do that.
I went through the Panama Canal.
What was that like?
It was real nice because we broke down right in the middle of
Your ship broke down in the middle of the Panama Canal?
So we stayed there 2 or 3 days, and so we had some.
Well, when you break down in the middle of the Panama Canal, do other ships back up behind you?
No, there's lakes, and
So they can pass you?
they can pass you.
Okay.
The only time ship can't pass you is when you're in the locks.
Ah, okay. Okay. So you must have broke down in one of the lakes.
One of the lakes.
Lucky for those other ships. Let me ask you a question. Were you married then?
No.
During that period of time? You're
No.
only 17 years old, aren't you?
I'm still 17.
What was your rank? Did they call it? What did they call you? Seaman or
Seaman first class.
first class? Did you have shore leave and things like that when you go on leave, or when you're in basic training? What did you do?
We went on leave after basic training.
Okay.
And then we went back.
Okay.
We went back and got our orders and shipped out.
Tell me something, Claude. What does a young 17-year-old seaman first class do when he's on leave?
You go visit your old friends and
You visit your old friends. Sure you do. Okay. Now you're in the middle of the Panama Canal there, and somebody, another ship or something, has to come to repair you, or how did that happen?
we had a ship that escorted us. There was 4 of us, other small. The ship I was on, there was only 22 of us aboard it.
Okay.
So they went and got parts and brought them back to us.
Okay. What was your job on that ship?
I was a boatswain mate trainee.
Boatswain?
Boatswain mate.
Okay. What is that? What does a boatswain mate do?
Boatswain mate takes care of the taking care of the ship's decks and the boats and the lines.
Okay. Did you have to mop the deck?
Every day.
Every day you mopped the deck.
Swabbed it.
Swab is what you call it. Do they have a crow's nest on that?
No, on that one they didn't.
So now you end up in the Pacific Ocean. You didn't break down in the Pacific
No,
Ocean, did you?
no.
Did you make it all the way? Where did you go then?
Well, we went from there to San Diego, California.
San Diego?
Then we went from San Diego to Hawaii.
Hawaii? Pearl Harbor?
Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
So we got repaired and got ready to go on from Pearl Harbor and went to Midway. Midway went to Yokosuka, Japan.
Okay. On the same ship?
Same ship.
Okay. So there's only 22 of you on that ship,
22.
right? Okay, that's pretty crowded then, isn't it? Or
No,
No.
No, it's a regular ship's complement of 60 something.
Okay, all right.
No, we had plenty of room
Plenty of room. So you end up in Japan.
in Japan.
Okay. How long were you in Japan?
2 to 3 months.
Really? Okay. Did you get to see the country any? And
No,
they kept you on board or what?
no, we put the ship out of commission, turned it over to the Japanese Navy.
Oh, okay.
They put us in Tent City and
Okay.
so we didn't have,
You didn't get any leave time to go into the...
no,
Okay.
didn't get no liberty time, much less leave.
No liberty, no liberty.
Because we was getting ready to go straight to catch another ship and go straight up to Korea.
Okay. Was there any damage? Did you see any damage in Japan from the war? Did you see any damage?
They were still rebuilding.
Okay. But that ship that you went over there on, you turned that over to the Japanese Navy.
Japanese Navy.
Okay. And what kind of firearms did you have? Did you have a sidearm? Did you have a rifle? What did you have?
None.
None of that? Did you train with any of those
We
things?
trained with the 03 rifle.
Okay. The old 03? Was that the bolt action one?
No,
Or Garand? That was the M1?
that was next to the M1.
Next to the... Okay. So now you're going to Korea. Where did you go to in Korea?
I went up to Korea and caught a ship called the Juno,
The Juno. Okay.
one named after the capital of Alaska.
Capital of Alaska, right. And
It was the second Juno. The first one went down in Guadalcanal with the 5 Southern brothers on it.
oh yeah, I remember reading about the 5 Sullivan
Yeah.
brothers. They were all brothers, all 5 of them.
All 5 of them.
And they all perished on that ship, didn't they? Yeah. So you're on the ship that was renamed Juno
Renamed.
after that. Okay. When did you go to Korea? What was that? Be 52?
First part of 52.
Okay. Now, what was the situation like then in Korea in 52? Did the Americans break out of the Pusan perimeter, or what was going on?
I have no idea. I was in the Navy. I wasn't in the Army, so I have no.
You didn't keep up with those Army boys.
No,
So you're in the. How long were you there?
I was there all of 52 and part of 53.
What did you do during that period of
I
time?
become a cook.
You were a cook. Were you a cook on the Juno?
I was on the Juno then.
Okay. And it was for the whole time that you were in Korea?
Just about the whole time I did.
Did you ever get to go to ashore?
Well, every 90 days we'd come back to Yokosuka, Japan.
I see.
Either Yokosuka or Tokyo, or one time we went up in the ship, went up into China.
Okay.
So you'd be up there for a week to 10 days and then come back to the bomb lines.
But you're the cook. What kind of food do they serve on the Juno in the Navy?
Good food.
Pretty good, because you're the cook.
Well, the Navy's known for its food.
Okay. All right.
And
I had a Navy guy tell me one time that he was a cook, and their eggs that they made were powdered eggs, but every once in a while he'd throw an eggshell in there to make them think that it was real eggs. Is that right?
I wouldn't think so, because the eggshell would sink to the bottom anyway.
Okay. All right.
But once in a while we would go to dehydrated food if we'd get extended on the bomb lines. Usually our tour duty on the bomb lines was 60 days.
Okay.
But if we got extended for another 30, then we'd start running low on food, and then that'd revert back to the dehydrated foods.
What did you call that? The bomb lines? But what do you call that?
They call it the bomb lines.
Uh-huh.
We stayed out so far so that the shoreline couldn't shoot us.
Okay.
The ship in front of me got hit by artillery fire, and the ship behind me got hit.
Okay. But you guys never got hit?
I never got hit.
Okay.
Now, even though you was a cook, you still had the general quarter stations. You had to go into the gun mounts, which we had 6 twin sets of 5mm guns, and you might stay in there 16, 24 hours at a time.
Did you ever have to shoot toward the shore?
Every day.
Every day you shot?
Every day.
Okay.
You went up and down, and you got a foreign order, and they passed it down. And then you use a grunt, you pass the ammunition up.
What was your job on the gun mount? Were you the trigger man or the ammunition
I was
passer?
one that passed up the powder.
Okay.
The shell and the powder is 2 different packages.
Is that pretty heavy?
Seemed like it was about between 50 and 60 pounds.
Of gunpowder is what it
Yeah.
was, right? Okay.
Big bullets.
And so you're there for quite a while then, into 1953.
Yes.
Okay. What did anything happen on board ship that were anything serious or unserious? I mean, what was did anybody fall overboard?
No.
No, none of that. Did you have a good captain?
Had a very good captain, had a very good crew. You get to know everybody. It's the same people, and you're close, you eat together, you see each other every day.
Have you kept in contact with any of those guys over the years?
I lost track of the 2 I worked with. I lost track of them last year. I went to a ship's reunion in '09.
Oh, you've got, okay.
And so I met about 50 of them then. It was in '09.
Oh, boy.
That was the last reunion that the ship quit having one after that.
Oh, boy.
I was the youngest one there.
Well, you were 17. Did you turn 18 on board ship?
Aboard one of them.
Some of them, one of them, okay. So now you're getting ready to come home, right? Is it the same ship is it the Juno that you come home on?
I came back to California on the Juno.
On the who?
On the Juno.
Okay, okay.
And then we got leave to go home.
Okay. And when you came back to California, was that San Francisco?
Long Beach.
Long Beach. But you're going to go home, you're on leave now.
Yes.
Hey, what'd you do, take a train?
No, there's 5 of us that rented one of the buddies' cars. They all lived in.
You rented a car?
It belonged to one of the guys on the that we worked with.
Okay. So you're driving back. You're
Yeah,
driving
there's 5 of us drove back.
all in the. What kind of car was it?
Seemed like it was a 46 Ford.
A 46 Ford, 5 Navy guys in the 46 Ford driving back across country, right?
That's right.
How long did it take you to get back? A couple months?
We only had 14 days.
Oh, okay.
It took 4 or 5 days.
All right.
3 or 4 days. We drove all day and night.
Now, are you headed toward South Carolina?
Yes.
Okay, that's where home still is.
Yes.
Okay. Did your folks know you were coming?
No.
Did they knock on the door and there you were?
I was there.
What happened? Did they just happy to see you?
Happy to see me.
I'll bet. So you only have 14 days, right?
Yep.
Well, now what are you going to do to get back to Long Beach, or where do you report?
Well, I had to go back to Long Beach, but I went back to, supposed to meet my ride in Arkansas.
Okay. Okay.
I lost track of where I was supposed to be at.
You lost track?
Well, I lost track of them and I didn't have the phone number to call them.
Okay.
So I hitchhiked from Arkansas back to Long Beach, California.
You hitchhiked?
Yeah.
Did you have your uniform on hitchhiking?
Yes.
You didn't have a trouble
Didn't
getting
have no trouble getting a ride back in them days.
Who picked you up? Did any?
Different people.
Just different people?
Farmers, salesmen,
Okay.
travelers.
Well, you hitchhiked back to Long Beach from Arkansas.
Yeah.
And now what happens?
I get back on the ship, and then the ship leaves and comes to Norfolk, Virginia.
Well, you got to go back through the Panama Canal.
Go
again.
back through the Panama Canal.
You didn't break down again, did
No.
you? The Juno was a better ship.
Juno was a big ship.
It was a big
750 people on it.
750. What kind of ship would you classify it as?
Cruiser light anti-aircraft.
Light cruiser, anti-aircraft.
Cruiser light.
Light, okay. Now you're
Oh, there's a
back.
difference between a light cruiser and a cruiser light.
Okay. Cruiser light. So there's a difference between light cruiser and cruiser light.
Yeah, there was only 3 cruiser lights ever built.
Okay. Then you were on the Juno. One
I was on the Juno.
Now you're back at Norfolk.
Norfolk.
Okay. And then what happens to you?
I got ready to prepare to go to the Mediterranean.
Uh-huh. The Mediterranean. Okay. And did you go?
I went.
What was your ship then?
The Juno.
Oh, okay. That ship's going all over the place, isn't it? What did you go to the Mediterranean for? Just what was the purpose of that trip?
Cold War.
Cold War. Would that be in 1953?
53.
Somewhere in there? Okay. And you had to go through the Gibraltar Straits, didn't
Yep.
you? That was something to see, the Rock of Gibraltar.
That was different.
Yeah, yeah. Where did you go then? What happened then?
Well, we'd go out and we'd operate, and then we'd do different training maneuvers. Then every 2 weeks we'd hit a different port. We'd be in for 3 to 5 days, go back out and train again, hit a different port. We was in France, Italy, Sicily, Greece, Spain.
Did you get any leave time or liberty?
Got a Liberty.
Where did you get liberty at?
France, Italy,
France and Italy.
Spain.
Okay. Spain? Okay.
Greece.
And you're still not married?
Oh yeah. No, I'm not married yet.
Not married at
No.
that time, okay. And then when you're cruising around the Mediterranean, like, did you see any Russian ships?
Don't remember. You see so many
see
different
them?
ships.
Okay, all right. How long were you in the Mediterranean?
6 months.
And then you came back to Norfolk?
Came back to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? Okay. And what happened there in Philadelphia? Anything?
Uncle Sam made me a homeless veteran.
A homeless veteran. What do you mean by a homeless veteran? You must have been discharged from the Navy.
I was getting ready. I came back to Philadelphia. They came over the loudspeaker to following people report to the orderly room. We went up, asked them what they want. They said, "You've been discharged."
Oh, that was that, huh?
There was over 100 of us got discharged that day.
When was that?
February 54.
Did you want to get discharged?
No,
You could have stayed in the Navy, and
I probably would have.
why did they discharge you? Do you know? They just didn't need you?
Reduction in force.
Okay. Well, what happened then? Now you're in Philadelphia. You're a homeless veteran. You said. What did you do?
My brother just moved to Portsmouth, Ohio, and I came over here to visit him.
To visit.
And I was on my way back to California
Okay. Why were you going back to California?
because I liked it out there. There wasn't nothing in South Carolina anymore. My mom and dad did.
Okay. Did they die then? Okay. And then, but you're going to California. And did you ever make it?
No,
And here you are.
I stopped here for a visit.
Tell me about that. You stopped here for a visit, and did you get married here in Portsmouth?
I got married a year and a half later.
Okay, in Portsmouth or
Portsmouth.
Okay, and you settled down, and then what happened? You had some children.
Well, I went to work for Ideal Milk first,
Uh-huh.
and then I went to work for the steel mill, and then I got married.
Okay.
Oh, I got married, and then I went to steel mill.
Okay. How long were you at the steel mill?
26 years.
Were you there when it closed down?
I was the last one out.
You turned off the lights going out, right?
Well, I got 2 weeks extra work above the rest of them because I was a trained water softener operator.
Water softener operator is what you did there? Well, what did you do then? I mean, you don't have a job now. What happened then? After the steel mill?
Well, I was connected with Desco Federal Credit Union.
Right.
They asked me to help them start a collection department.
Okay. Okay.
Just some part-time work. I left there 19 years later.
Part-time?
No, that's part-time, but it's about 3 months.
All right. So you went to Desco, which is a
Local Federal Credit Union.
right, Federal Savings and Loan Company.
No,
Just savings.
Federal Credit Union,
Federal Credit Union here in Portsmouth.
Portsmouth.
Yeah. And
It was in New Boston then.
It was, yeah. Okay. It's been around then. It's still there, isn't
It's
it?
been there since 1963.
Okay. And you went into the collection department.
Yes.
Okay. So when you go to collect the bill, you go up to the door and knock on it and say, give me some money, or how do you do that?
You normally could contact them by phone or letter.
Phone or letter?
You don't knock on the door until it's the last resort.
All right. Did you ever have to do that, last resort?
Oh, yes.
And that could be a touchy situation sometimes, couldn't it?
Especially if it's your next door neighbor.
Oh, no. Did you have to do that?
Yes.
Your next door neighbor. Were you on friendly terms after that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. And now, so you're working at Desco, but we've got the Army in there somewhere.
I joined the National Guards in 1957.
The Army National Guard. Was that the local unit?
It was a local unit at that time. It was the 166 Infantry.
Okay. It was infantry, it wasn't engineer?
It was infantry from 50 up until 1960.
Okay.
We converted over to engineers in 1960.
Were you ever called to active duty?
No,
So you're in the National Guard for how long?
36 years.
And you retired out of there, National Guard. That was where you'd go to drill on one weekend a month.
Well, when back then in the 50s, you drilled every Monday night.
Every Monday night.
In 61 to 62, we went to one weekend a month.
And but then 2 weeks out of the summer too, right?
2 weeks or more.
2 weeks more out of
2 weeks or more.
Okay, 2 weeks or more. And where would your summer training camp be? Was it up in
We went to Camp Perry, Ohio.
Camp Perry? Yeah.
Fort Belvoir, Virginia, AP Hill, Virginia, Camp Pickett, Virginia, Camp Breckenridge, Kentucky,
Did you ever go to Indiantown Gap?
Indiantown Gap.
Did you go there? All over the place. So you got to see a lot of the country.
We've seen a lot of the country.
All right.
Then later on, after I become first sergeant, I was drilling 2 weekends a month.
Oh, okay. Okay. What was your MOS in the Army? What did you do in the Army?
I started out as a cook, then I became a recon sergeant, then I could become a demolition sergeant, then I became a first sergeant, then I reverted back to S2 sergeant, intelligence, and then I became first sergeant again for 14 years.
Okay, National Guard.
Yes, I have.
Were you ever called to active duty for a disaster in Ohio, like floods and things like that?
We went to the West Virginia floods. We went to all the college riots except Kent State.
The college riots?
Yeah, I went to Ohio State 3 different times, Ohio University twice.
Okay.
Went to the state penitentiary once.
Okay. Did you go to Ohio State in 1970 during the student riots?
Yes.
I might have seen you there.
Could have, you might have been one of the bad guys.
Were you locked and loaded? Did you have ammunition at that time?
Yes.
You did? Okay. I thought you might have been locked and loaded. I remember outside one of the buildings there, seeing the National Guard around one of the buildings there. And seems like if I remember it, you'd sweep the oval,
Yes.
and then the students would come back in behind you, you'd sweep it back the other way. Is that right?
That's about the way it worked.
I watched that.
Well, you had to.
Yeah,
You had to watch what you was doing,
sure. Yeah.
because you didn't want to harm nobody. You didn't want to, because
I gotten out of the Army then, so I had sympathy for the National Guard boys that had to do that.
yeah, I was at the ROTC building when all the students came over.
Yeah, yeah. But you didn't go to Kent State.
No,
What'd you think when that happened? That must have shocked everybody.
it was a shock.
Yeah,
It was just a matter of time until it did happen.
it's going to happen somewhere.
It's going to happen somewhere.
Yeah.
It's lucky it didn't happen at the other campuses.
Right.
It's lucky it didn't happen at the prisons. It's just luck.
That prison, is that the where you were at the prison? Was that 1993 out here at SOCF or what?
1968, Ohio State,
At Ohio State
the
Penitentiary?
old prison,
The old prison. Yeah.
the old Spring Street prison, downtown Columbus.
When did you get out of the National Guard?
Got out of the National Guard in 1991.
1991.
Then I went in the Army Reserve.
How long were you in the Army Reserve? Was that active Army Reserve?
No,
That's inactive.
I went inactive. I had to go from the day I was discharged from the new Ohio National Guard till May the 22nd of 1994.
94. But you were never activated when you were in the Army Reserve?
No. I applied for some active duty, but I didn't get no orders.
Is there anything else you'd want to say about the Navy, the Army, National Guard, Reserves, or anything? Anything else you'd like to talk about?
Not really, but it's just any young man that wants a good education, a good training, join the National Guard.
National Guard?
It's local, it's there, it'll help you.
Do you have any souvenirs from like when you were over in Korea, Japan, or the Mediterranean? Did you get any souvenirs and bring them home?
No,
And so are you involved with any veterans groups like the VFW or anything?
the only one I'm involved with is American Legion,
The American Legion? Okay. Is that the local?
the local Post 23.
23 down there? Okay.
I'm still connected with the Ohio National Guard reunion.
Okay.
We have a reunion once a year,
Okay.
so I'm in charge of it.
You're in charge of that reunion?
Yes.
Where do you have it, in Columbus?
No,
or-
we have it here in Portsmouth.
Oh, do you? Okay.
It covers the Manchester, Peebles, West Union, Chillicothe, Arlington, Felicity, and Circleville.
You still have your uniform?
Yes,
Can you get in it?
yes,
Can you?
yes.
Okay.
I just retired my issued shoes last week.
You retired what?
My dress shoes.
Your dress shoes.
Yeah, they were 30 years old.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but the reason I can still use my uniform, I just lost 50 pounds.
All right. Okay.
Not my choice. I got cancer.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's why you lost 50 pounds then.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have been dead last March.
Well, you're not dead, are you?
No, I'm still kicking. Jeff Brett just keeps waiting on me.
You're keeping them waiting.
Yeah,
All right. Hey, Claude, thanks a lot for coming in.
I enjoyed it.
I
enjoyed talking
enjoyed
to
it.
you.
Good to talk to you, my friend.
I hope you got everything you needed.
I don't know. Did I? You tell me.
No, because there's a lot of blanks in there that I had to leave out.
Is that because it's a secret or you just lost track?
It's secret.
The people would like to hear it.
No, they wouldn't.
All right. Thanks.